everyone, nice to see you again. And this is Dr. Luo from Tiffin University. And we are record this program mainly is for Tiffin University, my student from Side 360 Intro to Counseling. Well, we have been talking about Viktor Frankl for 3 sections. And so for those 3 sections, we have been cover his life and his theory, right? So his theory called Logotherapy, and we know Logotherapy is mean what? It's what? It's a meaning therapy, right? So his main point is in our life, we have to search for the meaning, okay? And I think this topic may be even more relevant for this point of time, right? We are a coronavirus, right? And then every day in the news, you hear somebody say something happened again, somebody get virus, and school shut down, right? Now the elementary school, they give them 3 weeks spring break, right? And then many universities return to online. So I don't know, for this couple days, you stay home. Do you think about what's the meaning behind this, right? Did you think what's the meaning behind this, right? And we know for quite often, we cannot change the environment. Something happened, we have no control, right? Of course, medical scientists, doctors try to find a cure. But we, as a people, and we say, okay, we hide at home, okay? And we will do whatever we can do, okay? But the life is not just like this, right? So the Frankl say, even we may not able to go everywhere you want in this point of time, but nobody can take away your what? This. What's this? Spirit, freedom of choice, right? You can decide this will be a good time, or you can decide this is suffering, right? Okay, so we've been talking about so many, and let me drink a water before I keep going. Okay, thank you. Okay, so then he also say we can also enjoy the life, through active life and passive life, through curiosity, through humors, right? And through what? What other 3? What? You go back to see the PowerPoint, you'll remember, right? Humors, right? And curiosity, right? So, and love and caring, all that stuff, right? So we can enjoy our life if you decide to enjoy, okay? So now with all this, now today in this part of the section, we want to talk about, so as a counselor, how do you use his idea, the search for the meaning to helping people? How do we, as a counselor, how do we use his idea to helping people, right? Okay, so first let's think about the goal of counseling, right? If you are the counselor, what's your goal? Let's guess, okay, based on his theory. If the counselor, what should you do? Think about it. I think one of them must be what? Helping your client find the meaning of their life, right? Don't you think that's important? Actually, the reason Frankl created this theory, he also believed, because he is a psychiatrist, okay? And he believed as many psychiatrists, one question it's very hard for them to deal with is answer their patient, what's the meaning of the life, okay? And I think this is also very true as a counselor, right? You can use so many different ways to help him, but if they don't know the meaning behind that, whatever you try may not work, right? So that's very important. And this is in your PowerPoint. If you have PowerPoint with you in page 57, okay? So one of the goal is helping them find the meaning, okay? And so let me go to your PowerPoint so you will see what are we talking about here. Okay, so you can see in this PowerPoint, right? So first goal as a therapist, right? You help them to find the meaning. Okay, so that's very important. The second thing, you are believe everybody have the motivation to find the meaning. Okay, so if you help your client find the meaning, actually you make them even more want to go to your session because they know whatever you do is whatever they want to do, right? Then the next one, the last one here, okay, we need to help them to not escape from freedom as we always be held responsible. Okay, so it's important to help them to not only enjoy the freedom and also knowing they are responsible for how to use their freedom, okay? And to challenge a client to assume responsibility for destiny their present lives. Okay, so whatever your life, every day, right? You hear me other section, and now you hear me right now, and they are different moment your time. They are different moment, even maybe 10 minutes apart, maybe 1 hour apart, maybe 1 day apart, but every moment have their own responsibility. Every moment is their own life. Okay, so as a therapist, a counselor, we need to help our client to know they are responsible for every day, every moment in their life. Okay, is that true? Okay, so if that, then what's your role as a counselor? What's your role as a counselor? Okay, your role is to help them to aware if they are responsible or not for their life. Okay, so your client have the responsibility to decide what's their option, what's their choice, and understand whatever the choice they have, whatever the choice they make is their own responsibility. Okay, then the next one we talk about as a local therapist, you are the one not judge your client. Okay, you are the one. You are not the one judge your client. So you should not judge your client. Okay, you will make your client to take responsibility, and then also let your client know they will not don't allow their other people to judge them, because that's their own responsibility. Okay, that sounds good? Okay, and also here, make sure you're aware, because when we are talking about different school, and they have a different philosophy about what is the role of the counselor, okay? Now, we say for the logotherapy, we are not, so neither teaching nor preaching, okay? So we need to let your client know we are not here to teach them. We are not here to preach them, okay? Even for this couple session, looks like we keep emphasize about Frankl's, what his statement, what is inside. But whatever we say here, whatever I say, I'm not trying to preach you, okay? I'm not trying to teach you. The one I did is I'm share with you what Frank's life, okay? So I think that here I really like this one. they say as a therapist, actually, you are the eye specialist rather than a painter. You are the eye specialist rather than a painter. Do you know what's different between these two? The painter, actually, you draw a picture and you tell your other people, see, that's what I see, and so I share with you what I see. That's a painter, right? But the eye specialist, actually, you are trying to enable your client to see the world as it they are really is. Okay, so you are the job to help them open their eye to see their world. So you are not show them the world. You help them to see the world. Okay. So it's important for you as a counselor, you not try to put your idea into their mind, okay? And you are not trying to lead them to the place you want to go. You want them to see the world. And important, you want them to find the meaning themselves for their life. Okay? That makes sense? Okay. So, for this, if we are helping them, what do we need to do? Okay. Now, here, they say, logotherapy is always education, but it must remain self-generated education. That is, the patient learn to educate himself according to his value. Remember, we say we are not the educated teacher and we are not preacher, right? So we help them to teach themselves, okay? And they teach themselves according to their own value, okay? And here talk about couple things we need to do to help them, okay? And the first step we call gaining distance from the symptom. Second one is modification of attitude. Third one is reduction the symptom, and then say orientation toward meaning. Okay, so we are going to talk about this couple thing here. Okay, so the first step we say distance from the symptom. Okay, so distance from the symptom, that means help them away from their symptom. Okay, and couple things we can do. And so this is very interesting. Let's hold down here and let's think about what's different between this one and other therapists. Okay, so if you have been in the see the counselor, or if you have been working on the field and helping, a lot of them actually we are focused on their symptom. Okay, so here say distance from the symptom. What's that? Why? Okay, very interesting, right? So one of the example actually Frankl used is very interesting. He worked with a client, a lady, and lady actually shaking, the hand is shaking, so even cannot hold the coffee. So the lady come to her, say, can you help me? Because my hand is shaking. So instead, just sit there and say, let's, relax, then let's see how do you work on your symptom. Instead, Frankl bring another coffee himself. Okay, so this lady say hand shaking, right? And Frankl also hold the coffee and then also shaking. So he say, hey, let's compete. See who can shake the most. So they get to shaking. They both compete. And Andy, the lady laughed and said, stop! It's too much. I don't want to shake anymore. So you know what happened? After that, actually the lady stopped shaking. So did you see this? This one of the example when he handled with the client, instead, focus on the symptom, he used different way. object from whatever the client try to handle, and use a little bit. You can see also this called humorous way to help your client to like without knowing the symptoms gone, right? So this is one of the way Frankl used. Okay, so let's go back to our PowerPoint and see what he said in the PowerPoint. Okay, so he talked about 3 ways. Okay, the first one is called paradoxical intention. Okay, so then that's the one I just talked about, the example here, right? Teach them to laugh at their symptom, right? And the second one is the reflection, help them to stop concentration on their symptom. And then the third one, Socratic dialogue. Okay, so that kind of go through the talking and help them to able to think through about the symptom. Okay, so they have more detail here. Okay, let me see. I'm put down here. Okay, just a second. Okay, so paradoxical intention. Okay, so here, okay, let me put into the slide mode. Okay, so here is paradoxical intention. So teach them to laugh at their symptom. Okay, so what do we do here? Okay, so first of all, have, just knowing your client or your patient, when the reason their symptoms start to get worse, because they always anticipate something is coming, So when they anticipate something is coming, they start to feel so nervous. Okay, so knowing that, so now, as the therapist or counselors, you can deliberate evocation of humor. Okay, so your client came to you, came to a counselor, they expect the worst, right? They expect, you are going to talk about the symptom, and they will start to get nervous, and everything will get to, more than they can handle. Okay, but instead, handle with their issue, you start to use the humors, like Frankl, the example I just showed you. Bring the coffee, and he start to shake, make his hand shaking like his client, and then even say let's compete, and to the moment actually, their client just cannot tolerate anymore shaking, say stop, right? Then after that, everything is fine, it stopped, right? So this is the first example called paradoxical intention. Okay, the second one under this test called the reflection, help them to stop concentration on their symptom. Okay, so because we have the potential, right? We always pay attention to whatever we think is coming, right? So here say, whenever potential and organism are made a target of intention, we call hyper-intention. They also make a target of attention called hyper-reflection. Okay, so let's see, what do we do here? So if this cycle is to be broken, centrifugal forces have to be brought into play. Instead of observing and watching himself, he should forget himself. Okay, remember this is related to what Frankl talked about cell descendants, right? He emphasized, if you want to be success, don't pay attention to success. They are coming naturally, right? And again, if you want to get rid of something unpleasant, rather than keep looking, forget about it, and something will come naturally. Okay, something will come naturally. Okay, if you want to get A, enjoy the class, eventually you will get A, right? If you just every day enjoy life, your symptom will disappear, right? So this is what he said, the reflection, okay? Stop concentrate on their symptom, okay? That makes sense? Okay. The next one talk about is more like dialogue. Okay. So this dialogue is actually it's leading the client to through the discussion to start to find the meaning of themselves. Okay. Rather than just talk about the problem they are discover. So here, did you see here? Okay, look at here. At this point, however, while the patient begin to explore his theory about his victimization by force beyond his control, logotherapists begin to take an active part in the discourse. The logotherapy does not accept the theories in which the patient claims to be palm at the mercy of fate. Instead, the logotherapy insists that choice is always available to the patient, even if it is only choice of attitude. If only choice is attitude. Okay, I want you to think about this. What's this mean before we get to more detail? Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more detail here. Okay, so when we talk about this, actually, a lot of time when we are listen to our client, okay, of course we want them to find the meaning. But here important say, first of all, actually you should listen. Okay, let them talk. Let them talk, okay? And you don't interrupt, and this they get to the point. They start to focus too much on their symptom. They start to find a lot of excuse for their symptom. Then in this point, you have to stop them. Okay, so the red color words here, right? You have in your PowerPoint. Let me read one more time. Only even if the choice is always available to the patient, even if it be only choice of attitude. Okay, so let your client knowing they always have a choice. Okay, of course they say, well, how can I have choice for my depression? How can I have choice for my headache? Well, even you may not have the choice to get rid of your headache, but you have the choice for your attitude. How do you face your headache? How do you face your depression, right? Something happened. So for example, for right now, coronavirus, we have no choice. It's here. It's coming. It's like everywhere. But we have a choice in our attitude. How do we face that, right? And the school announced, right? The government announced, no more school, go home and take online, okay? This part, we have no choice. But do we have to complain? Maybe we don't have to, right? What's so good for complaining, right? But we want virus to disappear, but they may not disappear in one day, right? So instead, complain. Maybe we can change our attitude, okay? Just enjoy whatever we have. Enjoy the time you can listen your teacher through what? YouTube, right? And I choose to enjoy talk to you through YouTube. Even I don't able to see you, but I can decide my attitude. I'm going to enjoy. Why not, right? That's once a lifetime in my life. Maybe I can teach through YouTube, right? This sounds fun and interesting. Do you think so? Right? So even if your choice, if attitude, that's still your choice, right? And actually, that's something Frankl said. That's your spiritual freedom of choice. Nobody can take away from you, right? Nobody can take away from us, right? Okay, so then let's look at how do we do for this, okay? Let me bring back you for your PowerPoint. Okay, so that's here, okay? First, the therapist quietly listen while the patient is allowed to unburden himself and present his problem. And of course, your client will love this. Well, a lot of time they love to talk about their problem, right? So have them. So here say, you listen quietly, okay? And have them talk about it, okay? And what happened? Okay? Then text 2, okay? So you listen quietly for them to talk about it. But the second test is modification of attitude. Okay, so you are not just listen, you also help them to gain what? New perspective of themselves and their life situation, and thus modify their attitude. So your job is take them to see another layers. Something happened like this. What other way we can look? So help them to see another side of the same situation. Okay? Then what? We does not give perspective but merely serve as midwife to bring out what already exists in the patient. Okay, you are not give them any perspective. Okay, even sometimes you maybe can see it because you're more experienced than them, but don't give to them. Okay, you like a midwife, help them give the birth of their new perspective of their life. Okay, but because we talk about birth, of course, can be growing pain, right? So you actually, that the part you can help your client or your patient, to be patient and to appreciate and to go through that growing pain, okay? And let them know the only consideration of the therapist are the patient's well-being and his truthfulness to himself or herself, okay? So knowing nothing, change attitude is not easy job, okay? It kind of like birth a new baby. It take energy and they can be painful, but then when you're able to get them out, then you will be very rich and you will be very enjoyable. Okay, and so they have a couple steps you can do for this text 2. Okay, so the first essential is what? They have to realization that there is a pattern. Okay, now here, a lot of time when people depressed, they say, I want to, but I cannot because of. Okay, so actually this is lead to their from hope and to disappointed and to frustration, right? Think about example. You can think about if you say that, I want to, right? Okay, so let's practice this together. Okay, let's think about something. You can come out now. You say, I want to get A, but I cannot because what? Because I don't think I'm not as smart. Wow, right? Or you say, I want to become a millionaire, okay? But I cannot because I'm not just that lucky. Well, I never get the good luck, okay? So actually, it's not mean you really cannot do it. And you can see this depression is come from what words? Cannot. Remember when in the class when we talk about some word that disown, right? We say, you can say, I want or I cannot, right? I won't or I cannot. A lot of time I say, hey, can you come here? I can. What do you mean you can? It's not really you can, you just don't want, right? That makes sense, right? So a lot of time when you say, when you want to say, I don't want, just say it. Don't say I cannot, because cannot, that means you don't have ability. But if you say, I don't want, that means your choice, okay? So that's very important. The first one, you help your client. So when they are talking, listen to them, and they point out, say, hey, I heard you say you want something, but then quickly you say you cannot. And then you even give yourself a reason to prove you really cannot. And that reason actually what? Is a reason make you frustrated. Okay, so that is a, hopefully you come out with example yourself. Okay, let me see. I think I can hear you, right? I want, but I cannot because, and keep this one in mind, and then later we will have you practice a right way. Okay, so if you can even write down, you can pause this video and then write down a sentence there. So then when we get to the later part, then you can change back for a better positive way. Okay, ready? Okay, so now I'm going to bring you back for see our second. Okay, so the second here, so the first one, we help them to find out the pattern, right? I want to, but I cannot because of that. And we say that's not good because they are, if you say I want, they give you the hope. But then when you say I cannot, then you start become disappointed. And then you give yourself good excuse, then you become frustrated, right? Okay, now the second part, have them think about the pattern as objectively as possible, right? And try to understand what he or she has contributed to its emergency, right? So at first, maybe the person say, well, that's pattern all right, but why did it happen? And that very question might bring up their answer, and they may start to find, hey, they start to find something wrong with the pattern, right? So have them, so when they come out the statement, don't just stop them, okay? Have them think about, hey, look at the statement you just said. You say, I want to get A, but I cannot because I'm not smart. Okay, see what happened. Do you feel frustrated because you give yourself very good reason and they prove you cannot? And where they are from? Actually from yourself, right? Okay. Okay. So, and then what's the third part? So we have first, right? First, if find out the pattern, right? So let's back to our first, right? So the first is have them find the pattern, their pattern they're talking, and the secondly is have them consider the pattern as objectively as possible and try to find out what's going on there. Okay. Then third part here. Okay, so the third essential is to help them determine, is the person determination to change his reaction, reverse his attitude, and break the pattern. Reverse, right? Because a lot of time when people, you can see depression people tend to be more depression, anxiety people tend to be anxious more because they follow the same pattern, right? So we can do this step here. Okay, this is for the third part. How do we help them determine and change, reverse? Okay, so our job is to pull patient out of existential victim. weaken, right? So first of all, don't let them feel sorry about themselves, right? Because they feel they have nothing, right? That remember, we say if you have suffering minus what? Minus meaning, that equal despair, right? So we have them, we need to pull them out. So that means we need to have them add the meaning into whatever their life experience, right? Okay, and then teach them aware, okay, their life will be very rich because they were able to find the meaning here. Okay, so encourage them and remind them their life is rich because they will, if they can find the meaning, and actually the meaning already there, they just need to find that, right? And then here, you may have to say no. You may have to say no when they are fall into the victim, hinder in his notic development by fate, right? If they say, well, I cannot do anything, I think that's just my life, okay? Then you really have to firmly say no to them, okay? Say, well, I found this trouble and please stop thinking that way, okay? And then hopefully do this, okay? You will be success. You will be success only if you can be sincerely care about your patient without coding them, okay? Coding them. So you only can help them if you are truly yourself, because your client can really feel how much you care. Okay, so that makes sense. So this is the step. So first of all, pull them out from that victim mentality, okay? And then tell them their life is rich and they can find the meaning. The third, for if their pattern keep going down, 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 and they blame the fact, then you have to say no and make sure you are sincerely caring about them. Okay, so this is under test 2. Okay, and so, okay, so this is the 4 part of the your test 2. Okay, the third essential under test 2. Okay, so then after you do all this process, okay, let me go back here. Okay, so after you do this, so this part is under here. That makes sense? All this part is under here. Okay, so you do the dialogue with them and then help them to realize how they pull themselves down. Okay, then you go here, you reverse, help them reverse their attitude and break the pattern. Okay, okay, so here the person have to be helped to adopt positive attitude toward life. Hence, the formula suggests to change from I want to, but I cannot because of to what? Okay, I want to and I will in spite of. Okay, now remember the sentence you wrote down a couple slides ago? I want to, but I cannot because. Now I want you to change to I want to and I will in spite of. Okay? Let's give me a second. So how's everybody? Did you write down? Did you write down? Right? Write down I want to and I will in spite of. Okay. Write down. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Okay. So for example, for the example I give to you, I say, I want to get A, but I cannot because I'm not smart. Okay? Then I'm going to change this, say, I want to get A, and I will, in spite of my intelligence, right? In spite of I may not get them before, but I will do later, and I will be. And remember, who is the example for this? Who? Eller. Remember Eller, right? Remember Eller's when he is in high school, his grade is not good, and he heard